Hey internet, so today I'm going to be doing my March wrap-up, which isn't that exciting. So I have a few books that I brought over March and a couple I forgot to put in February's, and then I have the one book that I read this month. Yeah, so good, so good. Anyway, let's get into this. So, the two books that I forgot from February were Captive by Amy Carter. I brought it, read the first chapter, it's alright, I'll have to continue, but I remembered there's a character in this series that I just want to die or not exist, and he exists. And he existed in the first chapter, so I don't want him to exist anymore. Nothing wrong with him or the writing, I just personally don't like him. There's no reason to dislike them either. The second book I brought was the Complete Tyrell series by Amanda Hocking, which is like Switched, Torn and Ascent. I read Frostfire by Amanda Hocking and I loved it. It's about trolls. This is about a different type of trolls, and so I brought it. I haven't read it yet. It is pretty big because it is the 3 books for the whole series, but the writing's fairly big, so I'm fine with it. I did think about buying them individually, but I saw this at the shop and it goes well with Frostfire, so I got it. And the next one I got, which isn't a surprise because I spoke about getting this, is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. This is the US edition, this is the UK hardback. Just, can you see why I brought the US? It is a tall book. It has the deckled edges, how it looks naked. They look pretty similar naked, whereas the back part of the UK edition had what? Fairies, knights, princes, true loves, think you know the story, think again. The US edition has children can have a cruel, absolute sense of justice. Children can kill monsters and feel quite proud of themselves. A girl can look at her brother and believe they're destined to be a knight and a bard who battle evil, who might someday find and fight even the monster at the heart of the forest. I like both of these editions for different reasons, but they're both so pretty, so I have them now. The last one that I got that I think I ordered in February but arrived in March was The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I also brought the audiobook edition of this because I haven't picked it up. This has been sitting on my shelf for me to pick up for all month, let's face it, all month, and I haven't, and it's so pretty, and I read the first couple of pages and it was so good. I just don't want to invest time in reading right now, and I'm too in Storyland. But otherwise this one looks really good and I've been hearing nothing but good things about this book. Let's do this. The next two are the only March releases that I brought. I have a list of March releases that I have to buy, but the first one was Shadow Studies by Maria V. Schneider because I love the study series and it came out, so I brought it straight away and I still haven't read it. I need to finish Spyglass before I can start this book, and I'm not particularly interested in finishing Spyglass at the moment after I spoil myself. I'm going to have to. I know that's the next book I'm going to pick up so that I can read this one. Don't spoil yourself, kids. It's not worth it. It totally was worth it. It's not worth it. And the last book is no surprise because it was the only book I read and reviewed, I Hate My Selfie by Shane Dawson. It's like a short collection of true stories about Shane Dawson and I love this book. I like the physical copy, like each chapter has fan art in it and I really enjoyed it. I have picked it up a couple of times just to like look back at it and be like, oh, I like this story. I'm a fan of his and it was a nice fun break. But yeah, I really haven't been in a reading mood, so I'm not forcing myself to read. As you can see, this is just not changing. Some of the books, there are spaces on here because they're over there in front of you, and the other ones are on the pretty shelf. I've just been writing and learning about the writing craft rather than reading, which is fine because I'll get back on my reading horse one day, probably in April when I get over writing. Anyway, did you guys do a lot of reading this month? Let me know, and I hope you've had a lovely week and I'll see you next time. Bye. I forgot about my jars. This is a size difference between brought and have read this year. It's not too big of a difference, it's about half, which I expect, but that's just an update.